I think it's improved a lot since I first started. I think when I first started, it was more like, oh, the girlfriend of a fan of motorsports. Oh, she's tagging along. And now it's more like I see the passion has increased. Women want to have a voice. They want to have a say. They want to be able to analyze and have their opinion be valued equally. And given the current climate, it's not like men can openly criticize them as much as they did at the beginning, if you know what I mean. I don't think that would be perceived as being politically correct or socially acceptable anymore. So I see that female voices are getting stronger because of that, luckily.
I think we're on a cusp of a change. I think we are honestly coming into an era where not only do fans alike recognize female fans as being absolute 100% committed and just pure fans, and they're for the same things as male fans are. I think also you can see it in terms of the marketing towards fans, that has to now slightly change, because it isn't just all geared up for males. We do have to take into account that the audience isn't just made up of a demographic of males ranging from younger to older fans. We have to acknowledge the fact that women now make up a really great proportion of our audiences. And I think much like W Series were hoping and striving to achieve, it's not just about women in motorsport, it's the women watching motorsport as well, and bringing more fans and female fans in that way from a young age. Because ultimately, watching, you have to see something to believe it, and people need other people to look up to. So in terms of girls need other girls to look up to, and I think because that is slightly changing, I think we're seeing it filter down and really change the audience makeup. And you are always going to get people that want to throw a bit of shade towards, I don't know, female fans participating on forums and things like that. And it's an easy blow, isn't it, to go for a card that kind of targets someone's sex, but it's also not something that is just specific to females. I think social media sometimes can bring out the absolute worst of people. So I think because we are getting a lot more competent with social media, and we understand that sometimes you aren't going to encounter the nicest people, but to take it more with a pinch of salt, it is not becoming such a block to females of all ages getting involved and showing their passion for the sport, which is amazing.
I think social media is really important to show that there is actually women there, because they keep saying, oh, motorsports is a male-dominated environment. But when you go in there, you don't see this. I don't have this perception, honestly. Yeah, I don't see a full female team. We did with Angelus in Aragon, and then it was great, but it's not something happening every day. But you still have a lot of fun, a lot of people interested in motorsport. They are female, male. You see half and half in my perception.
Social media, we have seen so many women and motorcycling, or let's say women and motorbikes, but perhaps not in a way that we want to show them. And it's a little bit shame that I'm not judging anybody, but I hope that when families come to motorcycling events or go to the motorcycle exhibitions, they understand that they are there because of the sports and not to look at the half-naked women on the bikes, for example, because luckily I'm really happy that this doesn't exist that much anymore at the exhibitions, because there was no clear role for the women to just sit on a bike that didn't do anything for anybody. And if you want to sell a bike, you sell a bike because the bike looks good, not that the woman on top of that looks good. So for sure there is this part of social media, but at the same time, over the years, especially last years, we have such a great role models like Laia Sanz, Anna Carrasco, and so on, breaking barriers and showing people that they can do it amongst the men. I mean, they have been, I'm not saying that you should only compete with men. We have really strong World Championship series for women only. And I'm so proud of those women who are really doing good job and winning the World Championships in their own series. But we also have few women who have been competing successfully against the men. And they have really done the effort. They have really broken the barriers in a really big way. So I think that those women, they are really changing the world and showing the young girls, because this is important that the young girls have role models, because if you can't see it, you can't be it. They need to see that, yes, there are women doing this is possible, I could do it as well. So I think that all the credit goes to these great female role models that we also see in social media. Thank God, more and more these days.
I think that the reach at the moment, even myself over the past 2 years, I've seen a massive increase in the amount of girls and women who are reaching out to me through social media. They see that I race, they see that I work in the shops, and they're getting the courage now to kind of come up to me in the garage or message me on socials and even ask me advice. How do I get involved? How can I go about this? Or just coming up to meet me and say hello. And, I've seen what you're doing and stuff, which is great. Like that's my favorite part about racing is, you get these girls coming up and they want to sit on the bike and everything, or they're looking at things. So I think in that aspect, social media is so great. And even I raced against some fabulous females who were racing back when I was doing the European round, and social media allows me to stay connected with them, even though they may be on the other side of the world. So yeah, definitely it's a strong part to play in it.
I absolutely think that that social media helps connect women to the option of working in motorsport. There's just so many more opportunities and easier ways to get in contact, to see role models of women who are already working in motorsport that talk about what they do. Like off the top of my head, there's people that I follow that are like engineers at McLaren, or all these different roles that you never think are possible. Certainly 15 years ago, when I was looking to at what to do when I left school, I didn't know that I could be a motorsport engineer, for example. So for me, because I was good at writing and I liked writing about facts and things that I knew about, the journalism way seemed like the way for me to go. And looking at it now, like if there was more courses in New Zealand to look at engineering or those kind of technical jobs, that I absolutely would have gone for it. Whereas now I think those jobs are a lot more visible. There's courses available in the UK to do those types of things, so that it's not limited to these sort of traditional type roles, and that there are people that are doing it, so they become role models for people wanting to get into the sport.
I mean, before I started writing and everything, I kind of joined F1 Twitter, as it's known, just before the lockdowns kind of happened in 2020. I think making friends online as well is really important in this kind of space, and it was for me, because when I started writing, they were all really supportive. And then now, when you look at content creators on TikTok, obviously with that, it's blown up so much. TikTok now is huge, and creating content on there is such an important part of this sport, but also other walks of life. And I just think there are so many female content creators now who are being successful because of social media, and it's just helping kind of build that visibility and the representation. It's nice to see that social media can, as much as it is harmful and it can be a negative place, it can also be a positive place as well.